Hello everyone, welcome in Puzzling Perspective by RZAIN Society. Today I'm with Simonetta Lulli, the CEO of GameHouse. She's sharing her experience about development, but also how to understand player psychology, master development, innovate in gaming, optimize your strategy, and the future trends. I hope you are going to like it. I absolutely loved it. Thank you, Simonetta, taking the time. Have a good one. Hello, everyone. I'm super excited. Today we are with Simonetta Lulli and going to speak about the behind the scene of offering insight into the development process of popular puzzle games. And welcome on board, Simonetta. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's super nice always talking with you, as you know.
I'm super excited. You've been one of the first to support me in my journey with Puzzle Society, now Consulting and Society. So I really appreciate you being there. So I'm excited speaking about this topic. Can you tell us why this topic resonates to you and maybe a bit more about your journey as well?
Yeah, I mean, in general, I think making puzzle games or any games is very hard. And, I thought that it could be interesting, at least some of the learnings that we've done. And if it can help someone, I will be more than happy to share. Um, I started in games many, many, many years ago. First, I did gambling online at the beginning, and then I was 10 years at Sulake, Habbo Hotel mainly, and in all types of roles. And then I was CEO of Boost World, that is a virtual world for pre-teens. Habbo Hotel was teens. Then I moved into Spin Master in LA. There is a toy company, but that had three pillars. One was the toy, but they understood that to create demand for the toys, you needed to have content, and that type of content could be TV shows or games. So I was there as well when the acquisition of Toca Boca and Sagomini happened, and then I now I'm CEO of GameHouse here. I moved. I'm originally from Madrid, and I moved to Spain from US a year and a half ago to Barcelona. So now I'm in Barcelona.
Wow. I mean, I think you're really humble in your description. You are also, I think, a model for a lot of people starting in the gaming journey, and I think, a real example, at least for me. Simonetta, can you tell us what inspired you to work in gaming? Like you worked in the biggest studio for the biggest game. I think Abo was my first game. So tell me a bit more about it.
Um, this is an interesting thing because I was in gambling, and at the time I was in gambling not necessarily because I started in betting online and then gambling, but we are talking about the 2000s, so almost 24 years ago or something. And at the time, gambling was the only place that had money to invest in marketing. That was the real reason. At the beginning, I started there, and it was super interesting to learn because you could do a lot of things. But then I wanted to move back to Spain. I was living there with my current husband and boyfriend at the time, and yeah, I looked into different things, and Habbo came along as country manager. And I think it was a coincidence. And I always say this to everyone in some talks that they have asked me. I didn't plan anything. It happened. I liked it. I thought it was super interesting that how it was possible that teenagers were playing with an avatar and spending money on virtual things. And I thought, oh my God, this is the future. Don't tell me why, but I believed on it, even if it was very hard to believe on that business. And yeah, and here I am. So that it was a coincidence, nothing planned.
Okay, so I'm going to follow up with a hard question. What got your heart in gaming? What made you care?
For me, gaming is all about the psychology. what I like about gaming. Other people may like other things, but for me, it's the behavior of the players that is interesting me. How to create a habit, how they can come back, why do they come back, their motivations. So for me, doing gaming, and to be honest, doing anything in reality, any product, my background is in economy and then marketing more. But I thought, okay, you can only offer something that people want for a reason. So what is the reason? In the case of Habbo was people wanted to communicate and socialize in a different way, or there's always a reason. And I think the gaming is the mean, is not the real destination per se. Is okay, there's something else, there's a motivation why you're playing, on what you're playing. So I think that that's the psychology is the most interesting part.
Yes, 100%. I think entertainment is one of the biggest market and gaming is a big part of it. Not only because you have a mechanic, and I think we kind of forgot it. Maybe that's why some, games are shutting down now. We forgot that at the end of the day, you need to be player obsessed. And that's why today, actually, we are going to speak about development. I'm really curious because you've been lately CEO of GameHouse. So how do you take the game development process at GameHouse? What do you think make it unique?
Yeah, I think my view on the development is linked a little bit with what I just mentioned to you. I think you need to find a gap, something that others are not covering. I think that personally, in general, right now, it's so hard to succeed in games that you need to offer a unique something, and that unique something needs to come from an intrinsic need from the player. So you need to fill that gap. You may not have even research, but maybe you as a player, you say, I've never seen this, or I've never done that. Or so I think that if you are able to find that, I think that it will give you the opportunity to do something innovative. For me, the innovation is fundamental. I don't think that the current environment will allow another game of the same type, of the same format, from a small studio or medium, because one of the key problems right now is that you have already games that are 10 years old, approx, maybe 8, 7. So imagine the LTV that a game that has 7 years old has. They have data, they have LTV. So if you are bidding against people that already know that their LTV could be $2,000, I don't know, whatever it is, 700, you will not succeed. So you need to do something different.
100%. And I went actually on the website of your company, and I was really pleased, to be honest, to see that there is a real care that is put into niche topics, niche market, but also diversity. Can you tell us more about it? And is it for you what you call innovation from your side?
Yeah, I think for me, one of the reasons I joined GameHouse, um, you know, I have said several times, I don't think being CEO is should be a goal of anyone, because it's very hard and you sacrifice a lot. So you should do it only if you believe that what you are doing is meaningful for you or for others. I mean, but at least for you and your purpose. So for me, the reason I joined GameHouse, there were 3 reasons, but one of them was the target audience. I felt that there's not many people focusing. I mean, there are many people doing games for women by coincidence, but they are not really thinking first on how to design for women. And that's the core of what we do. and even I repurposed the company in that direction strongly, so that we always think in that persona that is a woman. What would she do? Why? What is the behavior that she has from the 7 in the morning that she wakes up to the afternoon when she goes to bed, and based on that, think how can you improve their gaming experience, and that's for
I
us focus.
I love it, and it seems really marketing oriented, so I kind of can relate to it. Now, as an entrepreneur, I will say, like, would you say that you are assessing the product market fit before, like, doing the games, or how do you approach this? Because it sounds to be super entrepreneurial at the end of the day. Like, you have a user persona, game character persona, and then you draft the game, or it's the opposite?
Um, we we implemented a very fast development process where iteration and testing is integrated. So I think that testing with your audience as soon as possible is crucial. I think testing with your audience with not having the perfect game is crucial. Um, I think there's a tendency probably to test too late. I think just learn and test as you go, because it's very hard to make a game. So the possibilities that you will succeed are small. So what you need is time to iterate. So the faster you know where the good signals are, the better you know where to move towards. So iterate, test. Even if it's not with anything perfect, I think that would be the learning and the process.
Perfect. And as a CEO, how do you approach like those different niche market segments to make sure like you have, like at the end of the day, the value that is going to cover your cost? Because we are speaking about niche audience. So how do you assess on which niche you want your teams to focus on?
I think I don't think woman in general is niche. I think it's 50% of the population. So I see it as a huge opportunity, not as a niche market. However, yes, I think understanding, um, we do have right now. I don't remember if 4 or 5 personas. So those are our different profiles, and depending on what game or what do you want to do, you may focus more in the achiever or on the socializer or whatever. But in our case, it's very specific to a woman behavior. um, I think I think that more than niche, what I would call is cohorted. So you need to cohort your users and track them cohorted in a cohorted way.
Yeah, and I think with the last privacy challenge, iOS 14, Android Sandbox is definitely something that made you be even innovative on your process. Did you had to change the way you do things, or you still operate the same way?
Um, I think that when it's at development phase, I don't think those privacy things affect that much yet. Even if you have UA, it is in such an isolation time and amount of people that you don't have an issue. When you have an issue is when you would try to scale it. However, because I'm old enough, I can tell you that that was my life before tracking came along, or tracking, or all these super fancy new, or not new, but performance marketing. So in the past, at the end, how do you do it? You try to isolate your tests, um, try to figure out your uplift, and then you assign those users to certain campaigns. So more or less, that's what we, at least at development, that's what you try to do. Then in user acquisition, that changes a little bit more.
100% makes sense. And I just want to circle back on innovation. So we said how important it is nowadays to compete to like the big ones, the 7K thousand LTV user to innovate. So there is also kind of a risk assessing. So on a development size, development phase, especially when you are pre-production, how do you approach like the balance between innovation and maintaining like the core element that puzzle, for instance, enthusiasts love?
I think I think the difficulty of doing innovation is how you approach it and what is your runway, right? Um, I learned something during my time at the toys as well. So that is interesting because in everywhere where you are, you learn something. But they really, the owners and the founders were really strong on incremental innovation. So it was not about substantial, totally different innovation. It's more about how can you make it feel different, but maybe it's not necessarily that different, right? But if you look at the toys and at the dolls are dolls since ever, right? And some of them make it, some of them make it, and some of them, for example, one of them, I don't know if you remember, LOL was a huge success and was a doll that everyone knew, but the wrapper was different and the experience of the wrapper was different. So it is very similar to games, right? That maybe the mechanic is the same, but the wrapper that you put or the meta or whatever needs to feel innovative. It doesn't need to be that innovative, but maybe for your audience, it's innovative enough. And that's what you should be looking and tweaking. But it's very hard to innovate, and it's very hard depending on the amount of money that and time that you have. It's all about time, money, and a balance of that.
I think it's a stunning example, especially like with the success of Barbie, but also like the new dolls with Selena Williams, for instance, that just went out. So I totally agree, and I think I will definitely keep it in my mind in development process moving forward. Thank you, Simonetta. Okay, so last question, Simonetta, how do you see the future of puzzle games evolving, particularly on the mobile space? Because I know you are cross-device. It can be the answer, but on the mobile.
Um, I think we are reaching a moment where um, the app stores regulations are changing. I think that's going to be an opportunity. As Microsoft announced, they are doing a new app store. We'll see what that means. But Epic as well. I think that at the end, things are changing. And when things change, opportunities come. How do you approach that? Sometimes, depending on your size, you may want to be a big fish in a small pond rather than a small pond in a big fish a small fish in a big pond. So I think things are changing. AI is coming, or is here, but it will come even more and more in how games are made. I saw when you created your first game with AI, and how fast you made it, and you know at, the new generations are learning at a very fast pace how to use these tools. They are being educated with this in their curriculum. So things are changing, and I think finding the opportunity in the change. I think there are two ways to approach change: or you paralyze, or you see it as an opportunity. Yeah, and I think I'm a positive person, and I always think change is opportunity. So yeah, look at the opportunity. Look what you could do better than others, unique, hopefully, and create from there. And I think now that you're creating your own company and your own, I think um, it's all about what is that product that you will be able to really say, hey, this is something that no one else can do because I'm approaching it this way or that way or that way. At the end, they are gonna believe in you. That's how they invest at the beginning, and you need to believe in what you're building. So the more uniqueness and different you could present it because it's linked to you, the better chances you will have.
100%. I think you can't fake it when you make things, either when you are CEO. You said it like you join because you care about the values of the company you join. And I think it's stunning how you made it even stronger. And same on my business. I believe in it. I'm dreaming about it. I love it. And I think, it's the next $1 billion market. But even if it's small, I'm okay with it because we will impact where I want this to impact. And I think that's the most important thing, at least to me.
Exactly. And I think that one of the maybe problems in our industry is always seeking that billion business. Yeah, you can start at a different size and then you can grow. Maybe the first product is the one that you learn, but you are break even. The second product, I don't think the billion comes on the first try. And I think that you need to iterate a lot.
100%. Like I'm now bombarded with all the pitch of Airbnb bookings and so much, and even like Rovio. I saw like they used to be students at the end of the day at the beginning, and me when I was working at Rovio, it was a corporation, really, like really different spirit. So I think like
Yeah. If you can, my suggestion is investigate less the Airbnb and this, but if you see who has succeeded lately on gaming, they started very small. They just had a very good idea that worked, and they iterated at a very small size team. And
yes.
then when they had certain good KPIs, then they got the investment. But all of them, and then they got publishers, investment, whatever. But I think that that's the key. The key is how can you do it fast.
100%. Then make it yourself as well. Find your product market fit, find your people. And I think it's the key for a successful game. Simonetta, you are so true, so real. It's good to remind also all the community, you don't need $1 million to do a product market fit. You can bootstrap, you can
Yeah.
advance with a 3 people team. And I think it's good to remind even all of us that want to begin their own thing because of, unfortunately, the layoff or all what happened. I think it's a really good experience. Simona, it was stunning to have you. Do you have anything else, a last word that you want to share to the audience?
No, no. When you were saying this, I was like, oh no, you don't even need to code sometimes, right? You just need to put in front of people something that they feel is coded, but they don't need. We prototyped a lot at the beginning without coding with prototype or other types of tools, and that's enough at the beginning. And then if you see that resonates, you start. But I think that there is a lot of new tools and opportunities to many people. So I'm sure that you guys will make it. And if not, I think something that I always believed, but as well the CEO of Supercell said somewhere sometime, he said it's about the journey. So it's enjoy your journey, and that's what you're gonna take. So
I,
enjoy it.
I love it, to be honest. And like I'm not successful. I'm failing. I'm not profitable. I didn't find my product market fit, and so on. But I don't care. I have my team in France and Africa. I set this up, and it's what makes me happy. I think it's all about happiness. Like
Yes.
focus on your happiness professionally, personally. Do things in your life that matter, that answer your mission, why you are here, your purpose, and you can't be disappointed because you own your own stuff, right?
And please share with me. I'm my mom. I don't know if you know that Spain has two cities in Africa, Melilla and Ceuta. And my mom was born in one of them, and she lived a lot in Africa. She's a super pro African. of everything that you can imagine. So please.
Oh my God, Simonetta, it just becomes weird. It becomes weird. My mother is also born in Africa. I know we both had a brother. It begins to be a lot of things. So in 10 years I speak to you, I say you, okay? Simonetta, it was a pleasure to have you with us, and I will share it with you in beta test for sure. I hope your mother will like it. Does she has an Android or iOS? Tell me so I send the link.
I'm more iOS, yeah.
Okay, good. I will share it for sure. Thank you for coming to
Thank
our
you.
podcast, and thank you. Like, I think it was super useful for us. So have a lovely day. Bye bye.
Thank you, Claire. Bye.